today's session of the Overview webinar series. My name is Dimple Kaur, and I'm the servant leader at INDICA Courses, a pioneering edtech enterprise in the Indian knowledge systems domain. We create and curate online courses across multiple IKS disciplines for lifelong learners who share our belief in the transformative power of timeless indigenous wisdom. We are one of the 7 platforms created by Indic Academy or INDICA in the service of Indian knowledge systems. To know more about our work and offerings, please visit indica.courses, which has all our course catalogs, current, upcoming, and in the past ones. You will be able to see a plethora of courses across various streams of knowledge open for enrollment there. In the month of April, we began a course on an introduction to the Tirukkural from the 3rd of April. Ayurvedic nutrition began from the 11th of April. Leadership lessons from the Vedas begins this evening. And Indic Storytelling, Exploring Yoga, for which this evening's overview webinar has been organized, will go live from the 18th of April, 2023. We welcome you to go through our course catalog and enroll, gift, and recommend the same. You could also bookmark our website for your easy reference and follow us on social media to stay updated about our ongoing and upcoming courses. The Overview webinar series has been specifically created as an interface for prospective learners to understand what a particular INDICA course would offer so that they can make an informed enrollment decision. We have organized quite a few sessions of this sort in the past, and recordings are available on Indic Academy's YouTube channel. We shall share a link of the playlist that we have specifically created for the overview webinars with you for further dissemination. A recording of this evening's webinar will also be emailed to everyone who's registered for this particular event. Today's webinar is about the upcoming INDICA course, Indic Storytelling, Exploring Yoga. This highly interactive INDICA course is designed to connect the participants with the world of yoga through the path of storytelling. It will include activities that participants will be motivated to undertake with enthusiasm. Children and young adults will not only enjoy the oral storytelling, but also learn effectively and blossom towards their higher potential. Older folks, of course, are welcome to join too. The course is meant for the young at heart. It begins from the 18th of March, and live sessions will be conducted on our portal every Tuesday at 6 p.m. IST. Recording of every session will be made available on the portal within 72 hours of the class. In this manner, you can not only revise or refresh your learning later, but if you miss any session, you will be able to watch the recording and catch up. There's a discussion forum on the portal, and you will be able to use it for discussing the content of the class, post your comments or any queries. The faculty will address the same on the discussion forum itself or in the next live session. Before I invite our wonderful erudite faculty, Deepa Kiran Ji, to take us through this overview session, I'd like to introduce her to you. Deepa Kiran Ji is the founder of Story Arts Foundation, an international storyteller, educationalist, TEDx speaker, and a research scholar at IIT Madras. Her style of storytelling is inspired by oral traditions of India and is enriched with musical instrumentation and songs in different Indian languages. She has conducted workshops and trainings on using storytelling for learning and development of English language, communication skills, and socio-emotional intelligence for over 80,000 participants across the globe. Her focus area is multicultural classrooms. She has won national awards for her work as a storytelling artist and in story arts-based education. Her stories are available on her app, Deepa Storycation. I request Deepa Ji to let us all know about this unique INDICA course and what can the learners expect to learn. Over to you, Deepa Ji. Deepa Ji.
Namaste, namaste. Thank you, Dimple Ji, for welcoming our participants and also that introduction. And namaskaram to all who have joined us today to know more about the course. I'm Deepa Kiran. I will be facilitating the course, and it is called Yoga and the Story Path. So basically, it brings together yoga and storytelling, right? You have already heard that I have a background in storytelling. I am a professional storytelling artist. I'm also in the field of education. I work with teachers, training them on how to tell stories so that they can teach English language better. Given that background, I've also been a yoga practitioner for more than a decade now. Starting off with Mamata from Yoga Vahini, the Krishnamacharya yoga tradition. and later moving on to Zarna Mohan ma'am, who has been a disciple of DKS Iyengar ji. So these are the spaces where I got to hone my sadhana practice as a student of yoga. There was a point during the pandemic when I realized that I would like to work with children the way I had worked with adults, where we did introduction of concepts related to yoga through the medium of storytelling. It became a window, it became a catalyst, it became a crucible to hold these interactions, and it went very well. What we planned for adults, we found that somehow young adults and children also ended up liking it. So I designed this program, and it was during the pandemic that it really took shape. As an educationalist, I understand the role of knowledge, and so do all of us, right? However, knowledge today is available on our fingertips. We can Google anything. Now there's Chat GPT. Anything, the information can be retrieved at ease. What has become even more relevant and important, as I understand, not only as an educationalist, as a parent of two teenage boys, and also as an individual myself, is the knowledge of the self, awareness of my own self, the nature of myself, acceptance of that, and then being able to act with compassion towards myself, coming from understanding and awareness of my own strengths and weaknesses, and equally compassion to the world. I believe that this is what is going to hold us in good stead today. No wonder that right from the United Nations to the top CEOs, we are now talking about empathetic leadership, servant leadership, leadership which is all about coming from this space of compassion, the seed of which comes back to self-awareness. So the aim of this course, the intention of this course, and it has been able to achieve this in the past, is to really grow us towards this awareness, because awareness is yoga. Yoga is union, right? All our scattered selves can slowly come and gather together. And how are we doing it with children? One is bring in storytelling. Stories about yoga itself, stories about the one who brought yoga, Patanjali, stories that bring out the relevance and significance of certain thoughts and notions that yoga pushes us to reflect on. Apart from stories, this course will also have songs, some chants, breath work, mudra work, and all in very basic, fundamental, simple ways. Right? The whole idea is that the child gets introduced to some fundamental tools that they can actually joyfully learn, clearly incorporate, and carry back with them in an implementable manner. This is the agenda of the program. For example, let me start with a little story for you today. I hope to give you a sense of some of the things that are actually going to happen in the session with the children and the young adults. Yes, we have, it's open to young adults as well. Come, listen, everybody. Just for you, I have a story. Come, listen, everybody. Today, I have a story about this one man. You see, he had the duty of sitting and pressing the feet of Lord Krishna. The war was over. The man pressing Krishna's feet turned and said, Lord Krishna, you could have stopped the war, right? If you wanted to. You could have intervened during the game of dice, during that gamble. And Krishna said, I could have, but I go where I'm asked for help, not otherwise. You see, Yudhishthira was there playing the game, and so was Duryodhana. Yudhishthira did not ask me for help, so I did not help him. But he needed help, didn't he? He did. But he was not willing to admit to himself that he needed help. In fact, he wasn't even aware that the game of dice was his weakness. On the contrary, Duryodhana was very well aware that he was not efficient at the game. He asked for help. He took Shakuni to help him play. So Krishna turned back and said, you see, it is not our weakness that brings our downfall. It is the lack of awareness of our weakness, the lack of willingness to accept our weakness that brings the downfall. Because once you are aware, the next step is acceptance. Once you can accept, you can act on that. And when you don't, someone else becomes aware of your weakness and can act on it instead. The one who was massaging the feet was left speechless. He was left reflecting on this idea of one's own weaknesses, awareness, and acceptance. So what does this story make you think about? It's a good time. Take a moment. Take a deep breath and reflect. What does the story mean to you? What are the possible weaknesses that you may not be aware of? What might be the ways of becoming aware of one's own weakness? These are the questions that we bring up in the workshop, and children are actually encouraged to respond, give their answers. They are genuinely encouraged to share courageously from their heart. Truly, learning and growth happens when there is an environment that is comfortable, that is accepting, that does not judge you, that motivates you, that invites you to participate, to engage wholly. Would anybody like to respond to this story in any way at this moment? You're most welcome.
Perhaps they could raise their hand and we will bring them to the panel so that they can unmute and participate. So,
Yeah.
So any of the lovely audience members, if you'd like to share, so please raise your hand and we'll bring you to this panel so that you can also participate and see. Yeah, I have a Q&A. Yes, Raghavanji. Raghavanji, would you like me to bring you to the panel? 1 second. I see.
Alternatively, in the chat also, you can type in.
Yeah, either of the two. Okay, so Raghavanji, would you like to speak up or are you comfortable typing in the chat box? Whatever.
I can speak up, no problem.
Sure, so.
No, it's very interesting to learn a lot of things. And the next 1 hour, I'm going to enjoy learning.
Thank you, Raghavanji. Yeah.
So the idea, Raghavanji, is to encourage you to take this interesting, enriching learning of an hour today, join the course so that you can deepen this engagement and this experience in the beautiful curation that she has for you. So I just wanted to say, Deepa ji, anything. Does anybody else want to say something, express something, or share a story as Deepa ji invited? Please raise your hand and we have someone. Bala Subramanyam ji. Namaskar.
Namaskaram. I just have a query. I actually enrolled for the course, but in the initial part of this description, I thought you said that it is meant for youngsters and children particularly, and I'm quite a grown-up, so I'm wondering if this
And
course...
the young in heart, and the young in heart.
And the young at heart. Okay, then I'll count myself in. Thank you.
Anyone who has a mind open to learning is definitely young at heart, no? And it's welcome. Yeah. It will pitch itself in a manner that is more having elements of joyful learning and natural learning. Yes, I would say
Thank
that.
you, Balasubramanian. Yeah. There's Ratnam Chitturi ji. I am. Ratnam
Thank
ji?
you. Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Namaste.
Yeah, namaste. Namaste. What's amazing, just in 2 minutes, you know, I heard this Ramayana, Mahabharata stories, but what Deepa Kiran Ji brought, the fact that the Duryodhana found his weakness and brought Shakuni to help him, right? I never thought of this angle, right? We know the story. All we know is Shakunu is a bad guy, Duryodhana is a bad guy. These two bad guys got together and defeated Dharmaraja. You know, that's what we hear. But really, when you think about it, reflect on it, what she said is correct. That's what we need to learn, right? From our own Shastras, Itihasas, there's so much to learn. And it's amazing. Thank you, Deepaji. This is a wonderful that you brought out a very simple thing that you can learn. Even children can learn from this. A value, right? It's a value. The dharmic value. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ratnam ji. I invite Vaibhav Patel ji. Vaibhav ji has raised his hand. So, Vaibhav ji, namaste.
Yeah, namaste, namaste. This is very interesting, a unique kind of way of explaining to the children and youngsters. But just a query, a little bit was coming to the mind that, like Bhagavad Gita, which is a yoga shastra, and where we look for the understanding of yoga. Krishna has explained all kinds of yoga there, the essence of yoga. And there we see the Krishna's way of teaching Yoga Shastra to Arjuna was quite different, you know, like when Arjuna is perplexed and he is, you know, not feeling confident, and Krishna is not like emphatically listening him, but, you know, rebuking him. And if you see the second chapter where Krishna starts speaking, rebuking the Arjuna and saying in there, well, give up this weakness of heart, and you know, it doesn't feed to the person who is the pandita, and you know, like a guru's approach to a disciple to teach yoga is like making him feel humble. That first of all you surrender, and then ask queries, and then guru teaches him, and which is, you know, more beneficial to him, seeing him that he gets to know this knowledge and with discipline. So the way that Krishna taught to Arjuna was, you know, like somewhat, you know, what from the modern perspective might seem that not emphatic listening. So if, you know, there is some understanding about it, if you can say.
Yeah, sure. You are speaking about a way of teaching, right? Which comes through. Yeah, I hear you. We will look at in this overall, I'm just coming back to what the webinar is all about. We will look at queries that come from individuals and how best we can address it. For example, coming back to this story, you know, as we said, this story is a story that's addressing the whole idea of weakness. And in a sense, as what Krishna is expressing, you know, what he might have expressed to Arjuna in a similar way is, just become aware, take charge. Otherwise, I'm not going to be there to help you. You need to also take charge of your weakness. And in the workshop, what we actually do is very interesting, you know. So when you offer children a space, and adults, of course, a space where you say, let's look at our weakness. Nobody is judging. So we discuss, you know, this is my weakness. This is where I think I'm struggling. And then we talk about, okay, so what do you think are the internal strengths within you and external support systems that helps you handle this weakness. And you will be surprised at the kind of clarity that comes through. For example, someone was expressing the struggle with being honest in difficult situation where they know that they could, the repercussions could be severe. But what gave them the courage to go ahead and still be honest? So we had discussions on those. What was it within them that gave the courage? Like one person said, I wanted to be honest because I realized that my friends always called me the post box. That is, if something goes in, it stays with the person. But on that occasion, this person had gossiped to someone else. So I didn't want that. I wanted to live up to the image of post box. It was my integrity. So I admitted my fault and I came back on track. So there was an internal compass that helped give clarity. Another child spoke about how my mother always trusted me. So that time when I lied, I felt guilty because I know that my mother doesn't usually shout at me even when I make mistakes. So that gave me the courage to go ahead and be honest. So we are finding different ways, whether it is different pedagogical tools, right, to look at these various aspects. This is one thing we will look at. We will look at from yoga definitions of yoga itself. For example, aprapti praptaha yoga, a very, very simple but such a powerful definition, which is about if I can become better than I was yesterday or the previous moment, what I could not grasp before, I have grasped now. Aprapti praptaha yoga. If I can reach that space, that's yoga. So, and it could come by rebuke, it could come by self-reflection, right? So these are the kind of things we discuss. We look at quotations, we do creative journaling. Children are also encouraged to make artwork to express these ideas. So sometimes I just throw out a quotation and I ask the parents, the children, the adults, everybody. And it's surprising, sometimes even very little children have participated, where I was nervous. I said, you want such a young child along with the grown-ups? And the child has come up with insights as much as grown-ups have come up with. So I think that is the space we are trying to head towards.
So thank you, Deepa ji, for that. Vaibhav ji, I'm glad you asked that question because that opened up a lot of other elements. There's Mohsina Zeenat ji who's waiting, and I'll let her into the panel. But there's one very interesting question, Deepa ji, that's been posted by Sushrut ji. And Sushrut ji asks, will it help a teaching faculty at the university level to address BTech students? I'm curious to know your answer.
I am a faculty myself. I work with teachers. I train teachers on how to teach. So I believe any opportunity where we get to go inwards as a faculty. In fact, I'm just coming back from a session where we were discussing about awareness and unawareness of the faculty. That was the discussion that was happening, right? So I 100% believe that this will be helpful because we are looking at two areas, our own awareness and communication. This is my space. I definitely think that there will be takeaways. There will be things that you can go back and use in your classroom. Forgot the name, sorry.
So that was Sushrut ji. So I hope that answers your question, Sushrut ji. Mohsina ji, I welcome you to the panel. Please ask your question, or if there's an observation you have to share, please.
Yes, I'm Mohsina from Assam, and
welcome.
Yes, I would like to join this course just because I want to say this, just because of Deepa Kiran Ji, because Deepa Kiran ma'am is my all-time favorite, and storytelling is definitely a favorite of everyone. As a pedagogical tool, I'm also a teacher, so as facilitator of learning, we all use storytelling as a pedagogical tool. So definitely, I think I'm looking forward for having useful tips on storytelling and yoga also. But my curiosity is entirely, related with Deepa Kiran Ji's presentation style. I'm really curious and feeling excited to join this course. Thank you.
so much, Mohsina ji. Welcome to the course, especially since you're from Assam. It's one of my favorite places in India.
Thank you. Thank you,
So,
ma'am.
Deepa Kiran Ji is our favorite too. Hence this course with her. We have waited a year very patiently for Deepa Kiran Ji to be able to take our time to teach this course. And while Deepa Ji keeps saying children, essentially what she means it's participants, and the whole galaxy of participants is from a child to an adult, which includes professionals, homemakers, folks who have their own enterprise, anyone, as she said, who has curiosity of a child and the openness to learn. They're all welcome. We have one more comment. Let me see in the Q&A box. Yeah, Anjan Nandiji says that in modern knowledge, sharing is always academically formulated to be excellent at that subject. Storytelling methodology can be a great approach to reflect. Yes, Anjanji, we agree with you. Hence, this particular course for all the learners. Is there anyone else who would like to ask something specific about the particular course or any other observation? Krishna Chaitanya ji says, so there is a 6-year-old, even in a 60-year-old, and hence all the participants are children, at least while Deepa ji is teaching. Very beautiful. Deepa ji, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, well said, Krishna Chaitanya. Everyone is a child at heart, and the child at heart opens up with the transaction of listening to stories, and that's the beauty where we can all just melt, be less inhibited, be more connected with each other, be less worried, and that's a space which is healthy for reflecting, and that's the design of this program. So apart from stories, we also connect with few other things that are related to stories, like songs. Some of you, if you've heard the promo video, you would have heard the Namaste song in that. So not only do we have songs for just the musicality, which itself is rich, and music brings images to the mind, it hits our hearts softly, beautifully, but also we reflect on the lyrics of the songs, and then we have fun making lyrics during the program, during the course, changing the lyrics, coming up with our own lyrics, which is relevant to our life and our context, right? For example, we have a simple song that goes, I am smart, I am kind, I give my love and take my love, I am smart. It's just a starting line, and then we are encouraged to make up lines. What else are you? I'm smart, I'm kind, what else are you? What would you like to give? What would you like to get? So the whole idea is each of us has a shine within us, and how can we shine brighter just by knowledge of ourselves?
It's even an affirmation indeed, when they talk about I am, there's an affirmation. So yeah, I was wondering when these songs will be created in the sessions, we could actually encourage, this is just a thought which came up, we could encourage them to record their songs and upload on the discussion forum, because we have that facility also. And, we could showcase everybody's contribution and maybe other assignments of a similar audio-visual nature. So there's one question from Gautami ji, Deepa ji. She says, are cartoon stories also used to relate self-awareness workshops?
Yeah, so in fact, the point I was going to make is related to the query. So there will also be, apart from music, we are also having art responses. So drawing, doodling, painting, craft work, any way in which you would like to respond to a story. I will give the cues, I will give the guidelines. It's not that random, right? I know what I'm doing. I do a lot of art response work. So we'll even have visual art responses. So we put it up in our, we can put it up in our common gallery, and we can view everybody's different art responses. So I do come from that space. Sorry, what was it? Who asked the question?
1 second, let me tell you. Gautami Bhattagiri ji. Gautami ji.
Yeah, Gautami ji. So definitely visual arts of different kinds are equally relevant for learning and teaching of anything. And I will bring that in. I will bring it in a couple of different ways. I might introduce it as a resource material, or I might offer it as a tool for you to express yourself, which I love doing. I truly believe that each one of us must sing, dance, draw, paint, do magic, like do everything. Not because we can or cannot do it perfectly, but for the joy of self-expression, for the joy of creating something beautiful. So I'll take a moment to share a proverb, which is also pretty much the essence of how I do these explorative art integration, right? So there's a very beautiful proverb that goes that if only those birds sang that sang perfectly, the woods would all be silent. Yeah. If only those birds sang perfectly, then we would have completely silent forests, and we don't want that. This course is all about bringing out all kinds of chirping, right? We want a nice chirping, rich forest, all your creativity, your dance, your music, your drama, visual art, as much as we can bring in, we will. And asana is a part of this. The part of asana that we bring in, there will be a specific duration during the course where we bring in the asana. And again, the approach is always learn how to learn. So when we come with the learn how to learn, 15 minutes of asana is also how are we approaching doing an asana, which is what I've learned as a student. I'm not a yoga teacher professionally, but the sadhana that has been taught to me, the learning how to learn, I can share. So whether we do a tadasana, whether we do a vrikshasana, the whole process of how are we learning how to learn that, how are we coming to our awareness in that, will be the approach even to the little bit of sadhana practice that we integrate in this. What did I also want to say? Yes, we even have a little bit of mudra work. Okay, we will have some chanting. We will definitely always begin with Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunatu, Sahasvidyam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which is a basic chant about the teacher and the taught, all of us coming together, all our ignorances being taken away, all our differences being pulled away so that we can engage in meaningful discussion and grow together. And that these kind of chants, which really, they are very close to my heart, I would actually say, is what I believe connects back with yoga, connects back with stories, connects back with all these themes and discussions. These will be integrated into the program.
Sushruti has an observation. He says, I'm sure the storytelling course principles have been extracted from Natya Shastra and feel equipped traditionally also if given. I feel that you've also built on it. You have your own, experience that has gone into creating a technique which is an amalgamation. So would you like to elaborate upon it?
Yeah, so Shruti, definitely being storytellers from India, and especially someone like me who has a background in Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, I can heavily credit my training in dance. And Natya Shastra, of course, is one of the oldest texts and classical texts on dramaturgy, which gives us not just the dance elements, but the non-verbal aspect, theatre. It has Eka Patra Abhinaya, which is storytelling itself. Definitely, I borrow from that. But yes, as Dimple Ji said, I come also from a background in English literature. I've studied literature. I've taught English. I teach comparative mythology. And my audience is, a lot of my audience is an English-speaking audience in this country, audience in different parts of the world, Scotland, Iran, South Africa, where I've gone and performed. So I do bring in a mixed style which is evolved of its own, where I bring in the elements of Bharatanatyam, of storytelling, of musical instruments, and telling stories of India in English, right? So there is a lot borrowed from Natya Shastra. There is also from my teaching experience. I teach English and I teach how can we teach language yet keep our culture and root, which is how I came to tell stories of India in English language classrooms. So it will be bringing both together. Yes, it will be an integration.
So we have Raghavan Ji suggesting that we should have one more story from Deepa Ji, and he wants the session to move. Raghavan Ji, this is just a sample, though I'm sure Deepa Ji will oblige us. But this is just a sample. The session has to move from the 18th of April, and I would love to see this kind of enthusiastic participation from you there too. Deepa Ji, what do you say? Do you want to just showcase a song or another story? The floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Yes, I'm also very excited with this enthusiasm. It's so nice. I would love to tell another short story since you asked, but I'll make you also work for it. Okay, and that's how it's going to be in the course as well. So yeah, excuse my move. I have a hairline fracture on my finger, so I may not be as articulate with my hand movements today, but you can still try with me. Okay, what we're going to do is you have to do what I do and sing what I sing. Okay, everyone. So this is a little musical story. So this is how we're introducing it. So you can sing along wherever you are. Okay, this story takes us to a Gurukulam. Many years ago, in a beautiful Gurukulam, there were many students and the Guruji. The Guruji would teach them language, mathematics, astronomy, yoga, botany, and many different subjects about the outer and the inner world. And one day he gave a task. The task was, everybody come here quickly. Everybody gathered. He had this huge basket full of bananas, a heap of bananas in it. And he said, everybody take one banana, all right? And excitedly the children took a banana each. Obedient as they were tempted to eat, but held on to it and waited for Guruji's instructions when he would say, eat the banana. But Guruji did not say that. Instead, he gave a condition. He said, don't eat the banana right now. There is a condition. You need to go somewhere where nobody can see you. Eat the banana there and come back. Quick as the wind, the children disappeared. One went up the tree, hid inside the branches, right in the thick of the leaves where nobody could see him. Another one ran into a cave, which was outside the hill near the Gurukulam. Another one jumped into an old well, not very deep, he knew he could come out. And there he ate it. So every child managed to find one spot where nobody could see. Everyone except Sant Ekanatha. That little child came back with a sad expression on his face and the banana still in his hand. All the children came back. Banana swaha. And the Guruji looked around. He stopped to see this little boy with the banana still in his hand and all the other children looking at him. He's giggling. And then the Guru said, shh, let's listen to him. What happened, Ekanatha? Why did you not eat the banana? And Ekanatha said, Guruji, you said, eat the banana in a place where nobody is there and nobody is watching you. But wherever I go, I found that I am there watching myself. That's the story of the banana and who is watching you. And this is the story that I share in the course. when we introduce ourselves to the idea and the practice of Swadhyaya, study of the self.
Wonderful, Deepa ji. I'm sure the audience members must be reflecting as well, because it's not just the content, it's the pedagogical technique that you are bringing to the table that makes it so much more engaging. I have a very interesting question, and I'm glad that this has been asked. Right now, it's been posted by an anonymous attendee, but I'm sure by the time they are done with this course, the anonymity they would want to shed. So the anonymous attendee writes, I'm a very quiet person, lacking vocabulary. Do you think this course can help me to break that shell? I really got attracted to Deepa ma'am.
Before I answer, would you yourself like to answer that question? What are your thoughts? What do you think?
Me or the anonymous attendee?
Anonymous attendee first.
Yes,
sorry.
I actually would the anonymous attendee, while being anonymous, yeah, would you like to voice your views, dear anonymous attendee?
You can write in the chat. But what do you think?
Yeah. You can post in the chat box itself, in the Q&A box itself. So, whosoever
Before
has
I answer that.
Yeah. How to do so is their question. They say that.
So does that mean you do trust? You do believe that? I'm assuming that you have faith that it is possible. That's why you're asking the how. Yes. How? Please come just like this with an open mind. And if I must specifically answer that question, in one of our sessions, we had someone who had joined. They didn't know anything about me. They didn't know anything about my work. The cousin said, you have to put your daughter in this course. And that's how that girl, she was a young adult, very shy, and young adults are far more, held back. So she joined the program, and after day one, I actually got a call from the parent complaining, saying that she's very quiet, and I was told that this will help her with public speaking, and that's how my cousin made me join her. She was extremely upset, and I requested the parents, saying, since you're not familiar with my work, will you have some faith and wait till the end of the program? And I'd like to share with you that on her own, we had that lady volunteer and say, I would like to share this. And she went on to speak, to tell us a story, to share things from it. And I got another call from the parents once again, this time saying that I have never seen her so diligently attend a program and open up and speak before an audience. So there was no pressure on her to speak. All my request will be to come with your open mind and with as much openness as you have asked the question, come with the same openness. And definitely, we're all there to grow together. And we are there to bring out each person's shine. Yes, that's why the whole project here is shine brighter with your light. So from my side, the answer is definitely yes. And as Dimple ji said, yes, it's a beautiful question. Thanks for bringing this up. Dimple ji, you would like to add anything? Anyone wants to?
So all I just want to emphasize is that just bring your light at whatever stage of awareness and being you are. This particular Indica course by Deepa Kiran Ji is bound to leave you enriched. It will leave you in a different elevated state of awareness and being than you would have begun the course. That is not just me speaking because I had this particular platform. It comes from a conviction of having followed Deepa Ji's work. I'm sure she doesn't know this, but I have been following her work for long. And I definitely believe in story path and storytelling as a pedagogical technique. And it's not just, to learn something. The way the participants will realize the fundamental shift in how they communicate and express. The authenticity will increase. The trust building when they express themselves, the animation heightened or reduced, all of that will come once Deepa ji is done with you. You know, if to use a very fun phrase, once she's done with the participant will have to try hard to recognize, are they the same who joined in the beginning of the course. So that's something, and I'm very excited for everybody who's enrolled so far, and I'm hoping that more of you would be encouraged and inspired to enroll after today's session, or those who watch the recording of this webinar, because we will be sharing this with everybody who showed interest in this particular event. So there are 200 plus people who showed interest and who registered for it, but we understand it's a Thursday evening and not everybody could have made it at 6 p.m. We'll make sure that the video is shared with them, and I hope that this entire session, the way Deepa ji has beautifully recreated a slice of her course, it's just, it's like the tip of the proverbial iceberg that she's highlighted here or showcased here. I'm sure that inspires everyone to participate. And we have priced this course very nominally. It's an affordable program, because we were like, okay, it's children, young adult, even the older folks can benefit from the reduced enrollment fees. That's one. Second, as I always emphasize in all my webinars, INDICA is a non-profit, and it's the joy of serving Indic knowledge systems that inspires us and continues to fuel our journey. So if anybody needs financial assistance, please reach out to us at reachout@indica.courses for a grant or scholarship. We keep offering that from time to time. More importantly, leaving from the financial to the actual content part of it, I hope it also inspires you to recommend this particular course. You can share the enrollment link and a recording of this webinar with people who you feel might benefit from it, or even like-minded learners and fellow enthusiasts. Somebody asked whether a faculty from a BTech course could teach. It would be of use to faculty of other programs also. Even humanities faculty could benefit from it. And teachers who are teaching at school level, at postgrad level, all of them could benefit from it. It's not just the learning that Deepa ji imparts and the energy that she infuses in an individual is bound to help them not just in their professional domain, but in their personal life too. Deepa ji, am I right?
Certainly, certainly. And to our anonymous person, one more sharing from my side. Truly, honestly, I'm a very shy person. I've been a very shy child, and I perfectly relate to people who are shy, who hesitate to speak. Even now, you will find me at conferences, at other places. I will take a while to speak, or I will be on the quieter side. You might find it hard to believe, but I completely relate. And when I work with teachers, this is what I tell them. I said, when we tell stories, there'll be 4 other children in the class who will tell the story back like parrots. But that's not our achievement. That child who's never spoken in the class, that child who's feeling shy, that child who's hesitating but wants to say something, wants to somehow share, that child opens up in our class. If that person, again, young adult or any other program, even another teacher in a course opens up, that's our achievement, right? So I can assure that we are on this journey together. A lot of us are very shy. Okay, we'll find our way through. Yeah, and together it'll be lots of fun. Come, join.
So we have 2 posts from anonymous attendee in the Q&A, and since we are about to reach 6:50, perhaps this is the concluding part, and probably a few more comments and questions before we end today's webinar. Anonymous attendee, I don't know if it's the same or another one. So the anonymous attendee says, if it's too diverse in age group with faculties and all children, will children also benefit because requirement will be different? So essentially, I think there are queries about the mix of the audience. So the anonymous attendee would want to know whether it will cater to this diversity of age and experience that we are expecting in the cohort.
Right. So I would say that the nature of my work is always to make things very simple, yet interesting, deep, and valuable. So coming from the space that I'm coming from, the intention is to be able to reach everybody. A little bit of cooperation from our adult participants would be another learning also for our adult participants in that sense, that kind of cooperation, which doesn't mean you do not get to actively participate. You get to play an extra role in also being there with the younger ones, would make it valuable for all of us. it is a heterogeneous group and it's a valid query. This would be my response. As of now, I see that there are ways that I can imagine that we go about it. Yeah.
So there is a comment from Anusha Ji. She says that she's a software professional and wants to homeschool her toddler in Indian knowledge systems. And she's completely new to the people here. And Deepa ma'am here, I'm very excited to learn from you so that I can teach my child. And thanks a lot for the great sessions. Before I invite Deepa Ji to respond to this, Anusha Ji, you are amongst your own. So yes, we are completely new to you, but we are connected at a level. That's why you are here in this particular session on a Thursday at 6:51 p.m. So welcome. We warmly welcome you with open heart, and we hope that you leave this course and you're not just this course with a heightened awareness of how to homeschool your toddler, but that your association with Indica becomes long-standing. There's a lot more for you, not just for your toddler, that Indica has to offer. So welcome. Deepa Ji, please.
Yeah, so wonderful. Anusha, is it? Sorry,
yes. Yes.
Anusha. Right. I'm really, it's heartwarming to hear this, Anusha, because I have parents who will come and say, I want my child to learn stories. Can I send my 2-year-old to you? So I typically want to tell those parents, your 2-year-old needs you more than me. I'm happy to train you. So it's very heartwarming to hear you say that. And like Dimple Ji said, you are with all of us, we are together. And if that doesn't satisfy you, here is a very popular and one of my favorite quotations about storytelling. A story is the shortest distance between two human beings. Okay. So we are here to just bridge connections, to be with each other, to empathetically grow together in this program. So that should be the last of your worries, that you do not know anyone here, right? We're all going to really connect. Stories connect us. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Deepa Ji, and thank you so much to our lively, wonderful audience who took out time to join us. I look forward to seeing you all in class. It begins from the 18th of April. Even if you're not able to join few or more live sessions, the recordings will always be there. The discussion forum always remains there for you to engage with the faculty. But I hope that you take out this time and join the live sessions. Deepa Ji, deeply grateful to you for taking out time today. We know that you have a very hectic schedule yourself. So all the best for the course that begins from the 18th of April, and see you soon. Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, namaste, everyone. Thank you once again. Yes, Dimple Ji, Indica, and everyone who joined. Really, it's beautiful. And to quickly wrap up, yes, this program, this course will include yoga introduction through stories, through chants, shlokas, through mudras, artwork, creative journaling, and different ways in which we can find our shine and shine a little brighter. So let's just end with one chant.
Absolutely.
Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Namaste.